Well, folks, in today's video, we're going to be going through all the things I got at Larkspur Line Train Store during their 20% off Boxing Day to New Year sale. I got some really interesting things this haul, and I think you guys are going to like quite a bit of it. But before I get going through all of it, I just want to begin by thanking my grandparents who gave me some Christmas funds. I wound up spending it on all this stuff, so if my grandparents on my dad's side are watching this, thank you so much. I had a good time at the train store with it. Anyway, with that, let's get to taking some of this stuff out, and I'll begin with this piece first. This is an old Varney piece. Now, it's in horrible condition, but this is a Yellowstone locomotive, or a 2882 configuration, I believe. Anyway, yeah, it's not in very good condition, but I couldn't help myself. It's just so classic. I love the old lettering. And I don't expect this thing, to be restored to, perfect working order. But if we can get this old beast running, I think that would just be so cool to have this really old locomotive going around a layout. Maybe even take it to my train club. They'll love me there for that. Anyway, we'll figure out something for that. And then I also got this piece. I figure we can work this in there somehow. I don't know. I just bought that as well. Anyway, that lot was $15. Kudos, by the way, to the owner of Larkspur Line. He's so nice. He gave me very reasonable prices on all the locomotives, and then charged me 20% off of that. I thought, because, I was just pulling these things out of a bin. They weren't labeled for prices. I thought the prices he were giving me were, they already were 20% off, but after we tallied up the prices, he gave me 20% off, so super nice of him. Anyway, the second thing I got, I'm sure some of you guys knew I was going to get this. I couldn't help myself. I mean, I know it's an old Bachmann engine with the nylon gears, but it's just so cool, that old metallic look. I just really thought it was pretty neat, and it was only $10, so hey, what the heck, and maybe I'll put a better body in it or something like that, and we can mod this thing up a bit. Whatever the case, I think it will be a great addition. Now, here's another thing I bought. This was a little bit more expensive. This was $34. This was actually a store item. It wasn't in one of those boxes. This is another Bachmann piece. It's a Bachmann Spectrum. I forget what these are called. I want to say an interurban, but I know that's not right. My train buddies told me what this was called the other day, but I already forgot, unfortunately. Anyway, I just thought this was sort of an interesting piece. It looks like it might have been custom painted. Whatever the case, it's very interesting, and I believe it is a powered unit. It says good runner on it anyway. So yeah, we'll see how that turns out. I do like the detail on it. I think it will be a unique addition to the layout, so I thought that was pretty cool. Now, I bought this. This, I think, was a $5 or $10 locomotive, and it's an old Bachmann. It's not in very good shape, but I just kind of thought it was sort of interesting. I don't know. I mean, you guys probably know I'm not the biggest fan of the old Bachmanns, but you know what? I just thought it was interesting. I don't have a lot of engines of this type of configuration. I think it's like an SD40-2. So I was just like, why don't I get it? It's got this, I don't know, kind of cool light. I think it blinks on the top, so there must be some cool circuit boards inside this. I'd love to go through it, see what's going on. But yeah, I just thought that was sort of interesting. So I bought it. These right here are two very interesting pieces. These were actually some of the first things I found in the die-cast box, and you don't see them in the video because I immediately took them to the cache because I just thought they were so cool. This one doesn't have any wheels, but these are very vintage Varney models, and they're dated on the bottom. I'll see if I can find it for you there. Where does it say? I remember at the store, yep, right there. I'm not sure if you guys can see that, but these are dated 1947. So I presume that's when they were made. Anyway, these could be some of the oldest models. You can see the light on the end there. They're very vintage models there, and I just kind of couldn't help myself. I don't have a lot of stuff that's this old, and they're not powered units or anything like that, but still, they're very unique, and I figured that'll be a cool addition to the layout. Now, what's wrapped up right here is another Bachmann model. Now, I know it's a Bachmann, but I've been looking for one of these for a while. A Truck F40, I believe it is. The horns look a bit oversized, but it's I don't know, it's kind of a snazzy looking engine in my opinion, and I think they did a fine job with it. It is unfortunately an old ring field, so I don't really know. The guy did test it. There's also this random figure on the back. That was kind of a funny detail. And it does have knuckle couplers, which is interesting. Well, at least one. So yeah, I thought that was an interesting addition. And then I also got this. Now, I got this for two reasons. This is an Ontario Northern. This is my first Ontario Northern locomotive, and I've been wanting to get an Ontario Northern locomotive, and I know this isn't the greatest make. It's an old Lifelike, but I actually like Lifelike quite a bit, and you know, I think they did a fun job, at least with the detail on it. And we have something Go Via or Go Home can, you know, look at while it's running on the layout, so that's good. Anyway, so that's the Lifelike. Oh, by the way, when we tested the two, the Lifelike, which the owner suspects is high mileage because of the wear on the wheels, started immediately. The Bachmann Locomotive didn't, so Team Lifelike. Anyways, I'm sure you guys are starting to see some of the other scales. I did buy, you know, different scales of stuff, but there's a whole bunch of different things. This is really unique. I think this is an old Varney model. I could be mistaken on that. Actually, it says right... Yes, this is a Varney. You can see it right on the front. I actually just noticed that. Let's see if I can get this to focus here. It doesn't seem to want to really focus, but you guys will just have to take my word on that this is an old Varney. Anyway, it weighs a ton. I wouldn't be surprised if this thing weighs about 2 pounds. It's got a lead core. It is missing the front of the boiler there. But you know what, I don't know, something like this is just so, I don't know, historic in the model railroading world that you just never know what you're getting into, and I just find that kind of exciting, so I decided to get it, and it does have a tender, I believe. Another thing I decided to buy, that was out of the die-cast lot. This is an older Rossi. I got these ones really cheap. I think they were $10 each or something like that, so pretty reasonable. And they both came with tenders. I think this one is for the die-cast model. Maybe this one is. I don't know. They're both metal. The plastic one there, this one's the River Rossi, so it would have come with something else. But anyway, that's what I got in there. Now, I've also got these little switchers. These were $5 each. This one is a Model Power, I believe, Pennsylvania. Just kind of a cute little switcher, you know, it's nice. And yeah, $5. In fact, it was $4 because I was, you know, again, given 20% off. So $4 for a switcher, which probably runs, you kind of can't beat that. And the other one, this looks like an Ather, and it's not. I believe it's an old Lionel. And actually, I thought it said somewhere it was a Lionel. I can't tell. But whatever the case, I'm pretty sure it's a Lionel, and this one was also $4. So yeah, pretty good deal. So I don't know if this one runs. It's probably a little less likely than the other, but still, great deal for a little switcher like this. Now on to the rest of the stuff. There is some O-scale things. I bought that box of O-scale stuff. You know, all the old Mark stuff, I kind of couldn't help myself. So let's start going through that. I guess to begin, we'll pull out this thing. This is very odd. It's very classic. I don't think it's rare or anything like that. It's an old wind-up one. It's actually my first wind-up O-scale locomotive. I don't really know. Well, I guess the winding does work on it. Anyway, old classic engine. Got a switch of some kind on the top. I'm really not familiar with this stuff. It's not in good shape, but yeah, it was in the same box, so why the heck not? This right here is very classic. It's not fully my taste, but I can appreciate it. And it's an old tin locomotive. This one's a dummy. Again, this entire box of O-scale stuff was only $15, so I really kind of can't complain. Plus, it was 20% off that, so I don't know. It would have been like $12 or something. I got this. This is an actual locomotive. Not really sure if it works or not, but I guess we'll be able to find out. It does look like it might work. I don't know. That'll be interesting. And, you know, I've got kind of like an AA set with it, so that's cool. We got this old piece. It's missing its wheels. Southern Pacific. This is really classic. I really like Pennsylvania Railroad. Logoing is just so cool. So that's nice. And I got a couple pieces here. It's a New York Central. Yep, New York Central car. It almost looks a little like a tender. I think it's just supposed to be a car of some kind. Old Wabash piece. It's not in the worst condition, actually. This I thought was very interesting. It's unfortunately missing the roof. We could probably MacGyver up something for that, but old crane. It looks sort of cool. Got this old Southern Pacific caboose. It's not in the best shape, but it's not in god-awful shape or anything like that. It's fine. And finally, we've got this. Now, this is something, I was actually looking at one of these at an antique store. You know I don't collect a lot of O-scale stuff, but this is just so unique. So I was really happy to find one in there. Just noticed the doors popped off of it, but I do have it, so I'm sure we can sort that out at some point. And yeah, we'll be able to get a lot of this stuff here working. Because, yeah, it really was quite the haul. So there it all is. I'm really happy with this haul. When I walked into Larkspur, I was kind of thinking I might walk away with a locomotive or two, but I was certainly not expecting to buy all this stuff, so that was really special, and especially, everything was such great prices, too. So that was excellent. Again, I don't know if all of it works. I know for certain I haven't tested the O-scale stuff. I only tested a few of the HO locomotives while I was at the store, so a lot of them are still kind of unknown. But whatever the case, they'll all make interesting projects for the future, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun getting to work on some of them, especially the older pieces. Anyway, I want to thank you guys all so much for watching.